This week in games, Ubisoft sucks, Sky is blue, Bobby Kotick gave Bill Gates chlamydia. And there's a Nintendo Direct coming. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 285. We're back!
We are back, unfortunately.
We're back. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Look at all this energy. Where'd it come from? Are you happy that you got to win where... Oh, can't say that. But yeah, Winter Freeze is over.
Look at you, all bitter and petty.
No.
Aww.
See, Tavin, unlike you,
Aww.
I don't take things of disrespect or respect in the way you do. Those are irrelevant to me. Useless concepts. We should respect the President of the United States.
No.
But they're the President of our country, the leader of where you live.
The current President of the United States is not a president.
But he's the President. Hey, he is. He is. Whether you like it or not, Tavin.
Only in title and loan, not in how he acts. And
no.
I care about how the actions, Connor. The actions.
Well, care and respect are two different things, Tavin. One is demanded of you.
I got respect for...
Elon Musk.
No.
Howard Lutnick.
I don't think so. I don't know who that is. And I'm going to go
You
ahead
wouldn't
and say no. Phil just did a salute off camera. Whoa. I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
No, I was throwing my heart to you.
You got to reset your microphone, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, I was throwing my heart to you. Fuck off.
That was a good one, Phil.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Two Penny Gamescast. Each week, me and Connor come to you with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game. What is happening? This is why I can't do these long record days with you fucks, all right? Because just shit gets goofy in the final hour, and it's our most serious show that we do it last.
Whoa.
Why do we do the most serious one last?
Because I have something in my nose. I felt glitter. I literally was
you
like,
felt glitter?
I didn't feel glitter. I saw
what are you doing
glitter.
With glitter, Connor.
I don't know. That's why I was like,
oh, your dad wouldn't like what you're doing with glitter.
See, the fact of the matter is that you're just disrespectful.
I can't continue these jokes. Anyways, what video game news? We talk about it. All right. Sometimes Connor writes stories. Sometimes he doesn't. We'll see if he keeps doing it. And we're playing a little bit of catch up this week because we missed last week. There was, as Connor just mentioned, there was a Texas winter storm that we got trapped by. You know, Connor got trapped at his mommy's house. He heard there was a little storm coming. He said, "Oh, shiver me timbers! Well, I gotta go back to my mommy's house," and then he got stuck there.
Mainly, I was stuck in a guard shack, but I was there at my parents' house. Yes.
You apparently didn't know to turn the heat on, so you just sat there and froze.
Didn't know. Some people are just too smart to be bothered by things like cold.
Some people are just too smart.
Some people are just too dumb to be warm.
Well, they're thinking about other things beyond their own basic comforts. They're worthless comforts.
I don't think you've ever given a single thought about a basic comfort in your life.
I just take them for granted, baby.
I think you just keep your quality of life low.
No, my quality of life is seemingly better than most other people's because I'm just coasting. I like it, like coasting, like next to an ocean view.
I mean, being satiated with life is not the same as quality of life.
But what matters more?
The former.
Because the other way is you're basically saying it's rich people who are better than everyone else because they're in a better position in life.
Well, let me ask you, Connor, would you rather be rich or at the current economic level that you are right now?
Well, seeing as how our world's been operating, where the more money you have, the more likely you are to be a pedophile, I would say I'd rather be poor.
And here we go. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play a little bit of catch-up moving in. Oh, guess what I didn't make?
Ooh, buddy, I'm going to beat the shit out of you so fucking hard. That dog, they're going to be... I pretend I beat the dog. I'm trying to fit that into it. And think there are people who first weren't having to witness Tavin's disgusting mug on screen. And they only had to witness my beautiful frame. And now it's just kind of balanced out. Because look at this guy.
I'd like to say that I'm going to edit this out, but the last time I said that, I forgot.
Well, you shouldn't edit it out because this is the creative process. For everybody watching, it's bullshit. It's very tiresome. It's annoying. And frankly, why do we even do this? Why not just have me on screen? You know where to be seen. I think the show would improve substantially. Be heard, not seen. that kind of thing. Like you're a stepchild. But Connor's TwoPennyGames cast. We'll bring it back to the original Gamescast. Connor's TwoPennyGames cast. Rolls off the tongue well. No, it doesn't roll off.
If it was a Connor show, you would get one episode. There would be a second one recorded, but it would never get posted.
And then I would send those messages to supermodels online, and I'd say, "Look at me."
What messages?
Because any of my videos in message form, like Elon, kind of like Elon Musk.
Oh, you want to be like Elon Musk?
Yeah,
that's what you said.
The problem is that these aren't even funny jokes anymore because we'll get into it later, but as a lot of people are aware of the fact that the Epstein files were released, it's relevant to our field as well. It shouldn't, but it is.
Anyways, catching up on a story that was last week, Ubisoft made me look like a fucking fool, so thanks for that. Ubisoft Reset results in shutdowns, cancellations, and delays, with shares dropping drastically. In a January 21st press release, Ubisoft announced a slew of organizational changes that would see 2 studio closures, 6 game cancellations, and 7 titles delays, with an intent to, quote, reclaim its creative leadership, regain agility, and drive a sharp rebound. The identity of 5 of the 6 games canceled remains largely unknown, although it's noted 3 were new IPs, 1 mobile game, with the only named title terminated being the remake of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Originally in development at Ubisoft India in 2020, the game shifted to Ubisoft Montreal, where the game was apparently in an unsalvageable state. Internal emails in early July revealed that Ubisoft was closing its Halifax studio responsible for the mobile title Assassin's Creed Rebellion, but the closure has now been made official along with the shuttering of Ubisoft Stockholm, who developed Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, that's unfortunate, with Massive Entertainment, both of which received job cuts when reports of Ubisoft Halifax's closure first began. Although it's reported 7 games are delayed, the exact titles are unknown, but to many surprise, the creative director of the long-awaited Beyond... long-awaited? Are we awaiting?
Regardless of whether you're excited...
Oh, we are waiting for it.
Yeah, we are waiting for it.
The long-awaited Beyond Good and Evil 2. Fauzi Mesmar posted to LinkedIn to confirm BG and E2, that almost takes longer to say, remains in development and is, quote, unaffected by the recent changes. At the core of Ubisoft's alterations, the company will structure itself around 5 creative houses, CH, that specialize in different areas. Ubisoft designates Creative House 1 as Vantage Studios, a new studio that officially launched in October 2025, led by Charlie Guillemot, son of President Yves Guillemot, and studio veteran Christophe Derenay, as was the case when first created. This house will focus on the Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six franchises to make them, quote, annual billionaire brands. I don't know if some of these are still billionaire brands, but okay. Creative House 2 will develop, quote, competitive and cooperative shooter experiences with a focus on The Division, Ghost Recon, and Splinter Cell IPs. Connor, take over.
CH3, Creative House 3, will cover Ubisoft's live experiences, denoting games like For Honor, The Crew, Brawlhalla, Riders Republic, and Skull and Bones. Meanwhile, CH4 will create games in, quote, immersive fantasy worlds and narrative-driven universes, end quote, with IPs Anno, Might and Magic, Rayman, Prince of Persia, and the aforementioned Beyond Good and Evil.
Thank you, sir. Finally, Creative House 5 will handle Ubisoft's family-friendly catalog, such as Just Dance, Uno, and Hasbro video games, with all houses being overseen by a creative network that'll help coordination between development sectors. Lastly, Ubisoft's core services will handle the company's infrastructure, business planning, production services, and future tech. Despite announcing the development of 4 new IPs, including the recently acquired MOBA March of Giants, Ubisoft's stock plummeted by 34% next morning on January 22nd, but Ubisoft expects a $1.17 billion in financial year ending in 2026. Quote, while these decisions are difficult, they are necessary for us to build a more focused, efficient, and sustainable organization over the long term. A statement from Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot partly reads.
I apologize, but the correct way of that, I mistyped. But Ubisoft expects a $1.17 billion loss. So it's expecting a loss. They seem to have planned for it.
Oh, that's very different.
I know, right?
Yeah.
A statement from
Ubisoft News Gilmont partly reads, quote, taken together, these measures mark a decisive turning point for Ubisoft and reflect our determination to confront challenges head on to reshape the group for the long term. Quote, the portfolio refocus will have a significant impact on the group's short-term financial trajectory, particularly in fiscal years 26 and 27, but this reset will strengthen the group and enable it to renew the sustainable growth and robust cash generation. Ubisoft is entering a new phase, one designed to reclaim creative leadership and build value for players and stockholders over the long term.
Would you be surprised to know that's half of his statement?
What does the other half say? Jack shit?
Body-da.
Yeah.
Basically what I explained up there, him just jerking off his dick.
So that's really unfortunate that all of that happened. Man, Prince of Persia's dead. We are never seeing another Prince of Persia game as long as we live, guys. It is big over. Lost Crown didn't perform. I don't think Rogue of Prince of Persia did all that well. And if we can't even get this fucking remake, which was apparently fucking done or nearing completion, out the door, no, it's a dead series.
Well, I mean, to get on Prince of Persia real quick, two things about it. First of all, I usually would believe that entirely. But it's kind of weird that when they're talking about all of their IPs that are designated by their creative houses, they mention Prince of Persia. Now, I understand they could be doing that because they're going to do something new, and it's just to give people an understanding of, well, this is the kind of game we're going to create. But in the case of Ubisoft India, they really screwed up the remake. I mean, remember this being a while ago, we knew this.
Yes.
That just seems like bad development on a studio's part, and then there's just no way they could get it out beyond that.
We don't know what the state of this remake is today, right? We don't know how close they really were to being done. We don't know what the quality is or even what the fucking art style is, right?
We got that trailer.
They restarted it.
But I don't think I think they delayed it. They were going to come out that year.
No, they had to restart the development. That's why it was an unsalvageable thing. They couldn't salvage what was there. They had to do it again.
I recall it being that trailer popped up. Everyone noted it looks like garbage.
Yeah, the one that they announced it with in 2020.
But then didn't they announce? No, wasn't that after that too? Like they did like a little reveal trailer, and there was another one. They've
got a reveal trailer of a candle getting blown out.
Wasn't there another trailer after that? I thought
negative.
Maybe there were leaks. There was something else.
There was one trailer that looked like garbage. Everybody said it looked like garbage, so they delayed it indefinitely, and then switched studios. And then there was one thing, I think, was it last year or like near the end of 2024 maybe, where it was a candle getting blown out, and then with the date 26. And then now here we are in 2026, first month of the year, and it's canceled. First month of the year in terms of when the news dropped.
Wonder what I saw.
Let me tell you why they mentioned Prince of Persia in the collection of the creative houses. This is so that they can sell off their IPs and their teams to other publishers. Is why they are organizing their structure this way. That's why we have the Creative House 1, 2, 3, or 4. You'll notice all the ones that are still valuable, or what you would assume to be valuable, from Ubisoft themselves, all fall under Creative House 1. The Rainbow Six Siege, the Assassin's Creed, the Far Cries, the ones that still generate money for them, all those are conveniently all under one roof. Everything else, however, your For Honors, your Prince of Persias, your Tom Clancy Splinter Cells, like all of those are under different houses. So
that does make sense in this way that EA has been poising itself to be sold to Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
And they're getting paid a big amount of money.
I mean, it's the same thing Square Enix did, and that's why they sold off their entire Western branch of development studios, and it's what they've reorganized themselves now. I think they've reorganized with the intent to keep those things alive now. But yeah, Square Enix has the exact same setup. So yeah, this is so Ubisoft can downsize itself to either be sold in chunks or wholesale.
Very possible. At the same time, it is a wait-and-see type deal because from how the structure works, it can seem that they're getting a little bit more nuanced in how they can go about releasing games. Because Ubisoft, they always seemed unfocused. They've been for years. I mean, whether it was trying to keep Assassin's Creed alive and not really like trying to go back to the original formula with Prince of Persia Mirage and stick with what they had started with Assassin's Creed Origins, and it kind of really falling apart in shadows, but even still making it money to show that it's a viable franchise. But what you're saying does make a lot of sense because you can't trust any of these people. And the fact that only one of these creative houses has a name attached to it is the other big indicator that they would be splitting these things apart. Vantage Studios.
Yeah.
And that's the only one they've really seemed to be beefing up versus everything else. Whenever we hear about Ubisoft, it's layoffs, cancellations, whatever. So yeah, that is a very, very likely outcome of this entire restructuring. It just depends on if because video games are so profitable. At the same time, I can see them actually trying to turn things around to make it work because the light at the end of the tunnel can be very, very profitable, especially since they're thinking of, annual billion-dollar titles in the form of Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and what was the other one? Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Rainbow Six.
Yeah. I just think it's crazy that a decade ago, almost to the day, we were celebrating Ubisoft being able to fight off acquisition from Vivendi, I believe it was at the time.
Yeah.
And we saw that as like, yes, the artists are winning. And then now here we are 10 years later, and it looks like they're just packing themselves up and somebody please get this out of our hands, right? Mm-hmm. Is what it appears to be. So yeah, Ubisoft is in such a dire spot right now. And I mean, like, even their big franchises, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, those two aren't exactly on a winning streak right now. People like those games, but they're not like beloved amongst everybody, right? Mm-hmm. And then Rainbow Six Siege is placating to its base very well, and has recently actually seen another resurgence in players, which fantastic for that team. But is it ever going to accumulate in a new title, or are we getting a new Rainbow Six anything? There used to be sub-franchises to Rainbow Six. That's why Rainbow Six was the main thing, and then there was other things. And then now it's just Siege.
They followed the money.
They did, which they should.
I just think,
Connor, did you know For Honor just got a new hero?
Oh, they constantly get updates.
Why?
Because it's good. In fact, you know what, Tavin?
Being good's not enough in this climate. Why?
Selling character packs
who is playing For Honor?
I remember they had a resurgence of players relatively recently, and it was kind of starting to dip, and it got a second life. So I could see them, unless I'm mixing it up with another game, I could see them just thinking, well, we can make more money off of this still. And that's the other thing about selling it, is this seems to restrict them more than it does help them, if that's the purpose of why they're splitting them into creative houses. Because from how it seems, Vantage Studio is going to be overseeing all of those Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six Siege, and so you would think maybe the same case would be happening for some of the other games, the other studios. And the fact that they're having this big restructuring plan and they don't tell us, it almost seems like they don't know what they're doing, or by the same extension, no, it almost seems like they don't know what they're doing. Like they don't even have it all planned out properly.
Well, they're probably still reorganizing and putting dots, and they prioritize their big guys, right? To be like, all right, like this, but like also, I mean, like I truly believe like they're just repackaging themselves for sale, like in either chunk by chunk. So you'll see, fucking whatever team it is, which one? You'll see CH3 with For Honor, The Crew, Brawlhalla, Riders Republic, and Skull and Bones. I don't know why anybody would buy Skull and Bones. Or CH4 is a better one because people might actually buy these games. Anno, Might and Magic, Rayman, and Prince of Persia, and Beyond Good and Evil. So like somebody might buy those titles because those are IP that hold weight, right? So somebody might buy Creative House 4. And they don't fucking want Creative House 3, and they can't afford Creative House 1, right? Or there's a publisher that can afford all of Ubisoft right now, whoever that is, right? Embracer. But they don't want anything to do with Creative House 3, so they can sell that off or close it down as soon as they have it.
But the counter to that with Creative House 4 is it has the game that we know wasn't affected by any of these cuts. They're not trying, and again, you can maybe see that as like, well, they don't want to ruin that development of the game, so when they try and sell it, it'll be a bit more manageable. But again, why would you keep on supporting this game that if it was announced, hey, this game's done with, we're not going to be releasing it, nobody would have made that much of a shakeup about it.
Didn't Beyond Good and Evil 2 have some kind of crowdfunding thing tied to it?
Did it?
It had something to where you could, as a consumer, engage with development in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the same direct that they gave Joseph Gordon-Levitt, like a weird fucking commercial in it as well. Hold on.
Well, while you're looking that up, it just seems strange that they wouldn't cut people to save money. Almost like they're still progressing with the game's development and expects it to be released. And I had to remember reading when I was researching this story, someone got hands-on, or at least looked at the current version of Beyond Good and Evil. And no, this was actually years ago. And they, at that point, were saying, oh, this is very technologically going to be a game that's far into the future.
Oh my God, I nailed it. I didn't nail it. Ubisoft did not use traditional crowdfunding for Beyond Good and Evil 2, but instead partnered with Joseph Gordon-Levitt's hit record platform to crowdsource in-game creative assets such as radio songs and billboard art, announced at E3 2018. This initiative allowed community artists to submit work for potential inclusion in the game, with contributors paid if their assets were used.
Weird.
They're stealing art.
Mm-hmm.
They're stealing something. There is something happening in here that I think the longer Beyond Good and Evil 2 is in development, the more money they make.
Could be. I mean, especially with their push for AI, which they do include in this whole changing up the name of the game.
That.
What?
I didn't even think about that. Oh, no.
Ubisoft is not exactly unscummy.
Dude, Beyond Good and Evil is a pyramid scheme. What is happening here?
It could be. We'll see. A lot of this is we'll see how they go from here.
Ubisoft fucking sucks. I'm done. I'm hard done. I'm not playing none of their fucking shit anymore. I don't give a fuck how good Assassin's Creed or Far Cry looks. Prince of Persia was my fucking nostalgia baiting, like the last nostalgia bait they could have given me to get any more of my fucking money. Fuck Ubisoft. Fuck these fucking games.
Tavin, if you were nostalgic for Fallout New Vegas,
and Connor,
you'd
I'm
be one
sorry.
of those...
I know you love it. For Honor's not that good, buddy. It's not
that
that
good. No, it is that
not.
good. Literally, the biggest downside is
it's not
the
even a
players and how
top
they
10
act.
Ubisoft game of all time.
Oh, it is.
No, it's
definitively
not.
is.
I
Yeah.
could name probably 20 games before I get to For Honor.
Prince of Persia, all of them, lame ass.
Not all of them. A lot of them. No, not even a lot of them. There's a lot of stinkers in Prince of Several Assassin's Creed games. Rainbow Six Siege is better.
No, it's not.
There's several Rayman games
Rainbow
that are
Six
better.
Siege is a perfect emblematic of making shooters lame.
Siege is significantly better than For Honor.
People like their little shooters and their fill of fucking Counter-Strike because they get tired of playing the same game for 25 plus years.
What's the one I like that they don't make games of either?
Brawlhalla?
Nah, Brawlhalla is a better game than For Honor. Brawlhalla is Ubisoft.
Ooh, Phil, get bent.
Come on.
So you tried to enter the stage. You know, you can't enter the ring.
Listen,
ring.
the first
Fuck.
Prince. I think Prince of Persia: Sands of Time has aged quite poorly. So I'll give For Honor that. All right, Prince of Persia 2 and 3 I think are better. I'm not giving you anything past that. And then Last Crown is probably Ubisoft's best game of all time. It's up there. It's up there. Assassin's Creed. I'm gonna say Brotherhood, Black Flag.
No.
Origins Odyssey.
Nope.
I'll probably even give it to Valhalla.
Nope.
Okay.
See, you guys are not even understanding the core
crew,
combat
the crew is
of
better.
For Honor. It's far better than the combat in any of the Assassin's Creed games.
Splinter Cell, there's multiple Splinter Cell games better than For Honor.
Trying to piggyback off of Metal Gear Solid. But For Honor stands on its own.
You know Splinter Cell and Metal Gear Solid function completely differently, right?
What?
You know Splinter Cell and Metal Gear function completely differently,
Oh,
right?
I'm saying it's not.
It's like a whole hiding in the shadows mechanic.
No, I'm saying it's not. Yeah.
Then why did you bring up Metal Gear Solid at all?
I was trying to be like bravado. Yeah, I did. Yeah, but it was trying to be a funny point. But here's the thing: For Honor, for as much as you shit on it, how many other games have lived as long as it has and still gets attention?
You know what's lived longer and is better and gets more attention?
What?
Rainbow Six Siege, baby.
Is it?
Huh?
Oh well, discounting the fact that when no one played it until they did the little bit of a rework. For Honor didn't need that.
I would credit Twitch streamer Jinxie as to Rainbow Six Siege modern revival.
That people that watch hours and hours of someone else playing a video game made it
then
popular.
But he
so
got
is this a point to the
people
game
to play it
itself?
again, and then that wave of people playing it again got them to put more stuff in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in other
Who's
words,
the Twitch streamer for Honor, Connor? Tell
exactly,
me.
that's my point. Is that Rainbow Six Siege has existed because people relied on being drones and constantly going back to something that's the same that stays popular. For Honor doesn't need to stick in this high echelon of everyone still playing it a bunch. It still just lives. when it's all about having a lifespan in the first place. And For Honor still alive, baby. More alive than some other games out there. More alive than other Call of Duties. And again,
that's just not true.
And again, Rainbow.
One, not true. Two, an entirely different company.
You'll see.
Oh, Phil, you're not being picked up. No.
Oh, boo-hoo, Phil. Look at this guy. You hate him so much. You thought, I'm going to turn off his mic so we can't say anything.
But he's not. The mic isn't here. Hold on.
Oh, my God.
I switched to OBS. All the things aren't ready. They're not ready. There you go. Now you have it.
My point was, Connor was saying that For Honor is a better game than all these other games when it lives and dies on its player base. He's arguing with Tavin over like, Twitch. People watch a Twitch streamer and then the drones go and play it.
Still
It's a fucking multiplayer game. It lives and dies on the people actually playing the game.
It does.
Connor.
It does. The difference is that.
And then you brought up Call of Duty, which one. No, is not true. For Honor doesn't have a stronger player base than Call of Duty.
So many more players.
Two, that's an entirely different company. We're talking about Ubisoft.
First of all, I'm not talking about modern Call of Duties. Everyone, because the drones also play Call of Duty, move on. Move on to the next.
You're upset
thing.
people aren't playing Black Ops 1 anymore?
Oh, you're talking the ones that came out around the same time For Honor did, is what I'm talking about. Which there definitely were, because they always do. But the point is, you guys are having to talk about the value other people put on the game rather than the game itself. And for people that talk about the culture and the nitty-gritty of games, it's very pathetic. You want the people that, Connor...
Define culture.
Define culture is the spirit of what makes games good and enjoyable to play. Not what the crowd thinks at the time. The crowd right now wants to play a game that has AI assets with the Arc Raiders.
They don't want to. They just don't know any better.
No, they're drones. The same drones that play games because they're the popular thing to do.
If For Honor was pulling Rainbow Six Siege numbers, would they be drones?
No, they wouldn't, because it never will. It never will, because it's about the spirit of the game.
Because they agree with Connor.
Because
they agree with Connor. They're no longer drones.
Phil, now the culture will like him.
Because it never will. Because it never will. Because it doesn't have the fake bullshit of streamers playing a game to make it survive.
How is it fake? It's hard numbers.
No, because people watch someone else play video games for hours and hours and hours on end, and they have no autonomy. These are the same people that watch every episode fully of the Joe Rogan podcast. They're brainless. They have no autonomy.
Okay,
they can't think for themselves.
But where that differs in the terms of people watching Twitch streamers play this game is that they themselves are going to play the game and then further the lifespan of the game.
Yeah, because
people aren't doing that for Honor.
They're getting a handy and a fucking wad of hundreds by Ubisoft under the table. You know what's happening too. I don't know.
Ubisoft, if you're willing to give out a couple of other handies and a couple other hundreds under the table,
yeah,
I would be.
This is who I'm talking to.
Exactly.
That's why
TwoPennyGames is already signed up under your creator program, so you can.
He signed up under the creative program.
Yeah, I wanted early access to Assassin's Creed
and
Shadows, but guess what, Connor? We don't fucking pull in the numbers because the numbers matter to get access to Assassin's Creed Shadows early.
In other words, you're getting pounded in the ass, and all the while you're saying, "I don't like this. I don't support you anymore." But that's what you like. You like being treated like a dirty dog.
You keep getting hammered in the ass.
You keep getting hammered in the ass blaster, as some might say.
A wad of hundreds is still a wad of hundreds. I don't know what to tell you.
I know you are.
Especially if they're giving out handies alongside it. Just spit on your hand a little bit before, and we're okay with it. You know what I mean?
I have my own hand, buddy.
Yeah, but it's not somebody else's hand.
That makes it worse, frankly.
Usually.
They don't know what they're doing any more than better than me.
But sometimes I would rather somebody else.
Sometimes you like taking up the ass too, I guess, huh? I want to say it. Well,
moving on to topic number 2.
Ubisoft sucks.
Yeah, they do. Stop buying their games. Stop investing in them. They suck.
Take money from them.
We can all agree on that.
I think I can get to 20 games before I get to For Honor.
This guy's just a hater.
I think I can get to 20 Ubisoft games before I get to For Honor. I was thinking about including Assassin's Creed 2, but I really think Assassin's Creed 2 has aged like dog shit. Like, I don't know. We'll see.
I can go 300, which is the amount of times that Bobby Kotick was mentioned in the Epstein files. Next story. Newly released Epstein files show connection between the human trafficker, microtransactions, and former CEO Bobby Kotick. After failing to meet a December 19th deadline to release all files pertaining to pedophile ringleader Jeffrey Epstein, the U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, published over 3 million pages pertaining to the Epstein Files Transparency Act. That show Epstein had more association with the gaming industry than was publicly known. Comprising primarily of emails, figures such as Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Howard Lutnick, and Donald Trump feature heavily in digital correspondence through either being mentioned or in direct dialogue with Epstein himself. He was quickly noticed It was quickly noticed one such figure was the former CEO of Activision Blizzard, Bobby Kotick, who appears around 300 times in the files.
Then there's a picture of files.
If you want to go see some photos of the conversations, they are in
TwoPennyGamesNews.substack.com.
They are there. I'd recommend you go look them up and look up a lot of other things. This also contains a link to the site where you can go and search for anything that's in all of these Epstein files. The search function is actually very good. Epstein can be seen emailing Kotick trying to meet up in California while he was, quote, going to see Elon Musk at SpaceX with, quote, the girls, end quote. Another email between Epstein and one Leslie Jeff involves setting up Saturday dinner plans with Kotick in 2012. But Epstein's potential influence on the gaming landscape really comes into play with an email from Kotick that indicate Epstein might have had some role in the advent of microtransactions. This next one I will read. It is an email basically asking for a critique of what Kotick had sent him, where he's saying, X Prize is a good idea, but key is real-world rewards. Learn to read. Earn cell phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual items in games.
Is that an E or an equal sign?
It's an equal sign. Epstein has weird written emails, and, it's very weird.
Okay.
The May 3rd email between the two shows a discussion on the part of Kotick of, quote, real-world rewards in video games that can come in a variety of forms, but most notably mentioned in the shape of virtual items, with Epstein sending the message to hacker/inventor Pablo Holman for a critique who goes into enthusiastically supporting the idea of, quote, indoctrinating kids into an economy, end quote. Multiple emails involving Kotick or mentioning him coincide months within the timeline that Call of Duty first began including microtransactions in the franchise with Call of Duty Black Ops 2, doing so in March of 2013. A Wall Street Journal report based on anonymous sources familiar with the board at Activision Blizzard during the 2021 sexual assault scandal implicate Kotick of having been aware of the widespread abuse at the company. An email from an attorney representing a female Sledgehammer Games claim... An email from an attorney representing a female Sledgehammer Games employee claiming she had been raped in 2016 and 2017 by a male supervisor, with her also taking her complaint to HR with nothing to show for it. Going down? What are you doing? Yeah, right. That's a little weird. Bill Gates' friendship with Epstein also came under new scrutiny, with 2013 emails indicating Gates contracted an STD from, quote, sex with Russian girls, end quote, prompting Gates to ask Epstein for medication, in part out of consideration for his then-wife, Melinda French. This was stated in an email Epstein sent to himself that indicates a breakdown in the professional and personal relationship between the two, and though it was written with the intention to be sent to Gates, it's unclear if it was actually done so. Go that, please.
You put so many pictures of emails in here, Connor. It's hard
important.
to scroll.
It's important.
It is important.
Gates' representative reputed the accusations as, quote, absolutely absurd and completely false, end quote, but connections between Microsoft and Epstein didn't stop there. That same year, Microsoft would permanently suspend Epstein's Xbox Live account privileges due to harassment, threats, and for abuse, with further speculation pointing towards the suspension being in retaliation in some way on the part of Gates. Although this and many other connections don't necessitate illicit collaboration between the various parties, the fact the emails were sent after Epstein's public sentencing for prostitution of a girl under the age of 18 in 2008 shows the aforementioned individuals had no qualms associating with a known sex offender.
Oh yeah, you're gonna give me chlamydia? Yeah, have fun trying to play Halo Online, loser.
Damn, and he got him. He frankly, because how else are you going to talk to kids without any barriers to it?
Is that why we think he got banned from Xbox Live? is because Bill Gates didn't like him anymore? Like,
there is a reference
fuck?
in the
Do you know
file.
how bad your messages have to be in 2013 Xbox Live in order to get banned from it?
Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that it's because Bill Gates got an STD.
Bill Gates was just mad.
That's
crazy.
It could have been. So the crazy thing here, first of all, for those of you that maybe are not very knowledgeable about the Epstein files, it's a lot of stuff. Tons of it.
It's real bad.
It's real bad. Now, the caveat that some people might not understand is that a lot of what's in there, not the majority of it, by the way, but there's a chunk of it that are just basically call-ins to the FBI, to police departments of things associated with Epstein that aren't able to be verified. But aside from that, a lot of these are just straight-up conversations people had in emails with what are mostly people who have their names redacted, with black bars covering their names, the emails, which is especially crazy because there are some of these, two in particular that poke out to me, is one basically giving Epstein permission to kill somebody. We don't know who this exactly was, but the name of who was sending this email was blacked out for some reason. In that same vein, there was someone else talking to Epstein about letting somebody know about what they had going on, but mentioning that she could become a problem for them. And that actually person might have been named, and they're dead now, but even so, there's some crazy things being talked about here and people being mentioned that you can't even look up the name of who these people are. And so even with the information we do have, we're still getting connections to Trump, Elon Musk, Bobby Kotick, coinciding with, to get back to the video game side of things, when microtransactions first started. And it's a bridge to sell to a degree because they aren't specifically saying...
This is where I wanted to jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Because you and I, we're not old, but we're getting up there, right? So we remember when microtransactions first started hitting the scene, right? And we remember like things like, we just said in the Piggy Bank episode that we just recorded that like, oh, remember when Mass Effect 3 introduced loot boxes for the first time? We remember when this wave happened and how hard that the public fought against it. And I always thought that it was a little overblown. Right? That it was like, all right, guys, yes, yeah, the microtransactions are here. Yes, sometimes they're quite invasive. Yes, sometimes they are quite problematic, and I would rather them not be here at all. But if it's a way to continue supporting developers and funding games so that they can, live a little bit longer, because games used to just come and go, right? And that would be it. And now we live in the era of live service. Now, is live service inherently bad? No. Is it inherently good? Absolutely not. But there's some good live service games. There's some bad live service games. But if you had told me, Connor, even 3 years ago, that microtransactions were actively funding a child sex and trafficking ring, I would have been like, that seems a little bit of a reach, bro.
Crazy, man.
Fucking shit. You mean to tell me the ACOG scope I bought in Black Ops 2 fucking helped Bill Gates rape children?
Tavin, you are pro-rape.
No!
You are.
No!
I don't like it, but you are. That's the way it is. And that's what's so awful here, right? Because the big thing is to sell people on the idea that microtransactions really could have originated from Epstein, or at least had an influence on the implementation of them. Some people might say, oh, that seems kind of far-fetched, but there are so many things in these files that connect to Epstein across a variety of different spheres. And again, at the core of it, we're talking about a elite pedophile sex ring that existed for years and years and years. And if that is a thing, what else is? I mean, you really have to expand your mind of what is possible here.
I want to throw. I don't know if the image was real, the image that I saw.
Yeah,
but
it's hard.
I've heard some conversations happening, and I saw an image of a human body being eaten in these files. I don't know. That was a fake image.
That was from like this big public event. It didn't even have anything to do with like.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But cannibalism has been a topic of conversation within these files.
It's been brought up. Yes.
So if there's smoke, there's fire here, guys. So if they're doing cannibalism, they're probably doing a lot of other stuff too.
And this is.
And I hate to be like the speculation and rumors and evil elites in
behind
weird
everything.
like the hooded figures like doing demonic possession rituals or things like that. Like I think a lot of that is just like Hollywood, like or it's just movies and people's imagination getting away with them. But like, man, this is the closest we're getting to it. If it's not actually what it is,
it's particularly bad. And to go into another area, because this is only what we know about its relation to the gaming world. It could be deeper than even this is. I had neglected the former boss of Rockstar, of GTA, the CEO of Rockstar. Fuck.
I don't know. You're the one who just looked it up.
I did. I looked it up, and that wasn't even that.
There was a headline of GTA. I think creator and founder of Rockstar is up in these files as well.
Rockstar Games president and former GTA head was named in the Epstein files by the name of these people are bad at it. Leslie Benzies.
Leslie, that's a fucking shit name, dude.
Benzies, like the drug.
If you told me Leslie Benzies was like, if you told me the name Leslie Benzies, I would have been like, is that a pedophile?
It probably is now.
Jesus Christ, man.
Some other weird connections. Brett Ratner, who recently directed the Millennia documentary, he hung out with Epstein. There's a photo of him with some girls.
It doesn't surprise me. He directed the Millennia documentary.
And Trump still has, like, it's clear that he was still in contact with Epstein from some of the other emails, even though he's not, at least as far as we know, because the names are blacked out, actually in direct email conversation. He doesn't need to, because he can have people that do it for him. But ours, Politically Incorrect, is a forum on 4chan. And it's usually pointed to as the source for when QAnon really started coming about, that online right-wing ecosphere. And it's found out that he was in conversation with the owner of 4chan and the guy who created that forum. He was, in fact, talking about him, and apparently in conversation it had met him around the exact same time that Reddit was formed, that forum was formed. And it was also found out in leaks recently that for some reason the number one people in that 4chan forum, I think they call them forums. I'm not in 4chan, so I don't know to speak about it. They largely came from Israel, which is another thing that, like, more so than United States users, even though seemingly they always talk about things from a perspective, from a U.S. perspective. And there are all tons of connections where, and this just throws fire on all of the claims of anti-Semitism for anybody who criticizes Israel. And of course, those, I'm not putting this in the best words, but basically in these emails, he's talking a lot about Jewish identity and his association and involvement with Israel and Israeli operatives, specifically someone who was the head of Mossad back in the 90s. And so when you have something like this come about, the wrong perspective people have about how Jews run the world, it's just harder to combat those nefarious talking points because these emails show that that was a core thing of what Epstein was doing and his personality and people he associated with. Now, it's important to note he's associating with them in the same way a lot of people who were, evil Christians would associate with other evil Christians because their values align. It's just that now we're having a very clear window into just how much, in what my perspective, religion, just as a construct, leads to evil.
I'm not.
I know.
That was a weird. That was a. You took a left there, Connor. That I was following you, and then you took a left.
Well, think about it. The biggest.
There's a difference between religion and then like institutions of religion, or
Yes.
or the people behind it who use religion as a vehicle to conduct evil business.
I'm getting too much into deep my own thoughts, but basically, people that are religious don't really represent their religion correctly, and that's a good thing. And the ones that are really hardline, dogged to religious doctrines are usually the ones that come about being evil. The biggest competitor to this sex ring, which is of course being associated with Judaism, wrongfully so, is the Catholic Church, the other big, pedophile group that exists, where they were constantly moving people around for hundreds of years as they were sexually assaulting children. Priests were. I mean, it's just the other side of this. Yet you're not seeing a lot of the sentiment that just Catholics inherently are supporters of pedophile sex rings. It's just ridiculous to take the followers of a religion, and apply them to people who are clearly evil, nefarious actors. And, again, the conversation of religion as a whole, and this is a video game podcast, the conversation of religion as a whole just becomes just everyone like stabbing each other because they've chosen that their God is right above all of the others, and they're completely vindicated in whatever actions they commit in the name of it.
If they were wrong, their God would have saved them.
That's true.
Much like your God would have saved you.
Or lack thereof. Where's my God? But yeah, I went on a unhinged rant. It probably sounds horrible in the recording. But the point is that we're ran by an evil group of people. We're fucked, Tavin. We're fucked. Why do we even do this video game stuff? It's not going to matter when the world ends and just it's standard to have sex with children. Is this what the world they're leading us to? These are the people that run us.
I think this is the opposite. I think this is us. I think this is us figuring out, hey, we're doing a bad thing. We should stop that.
But no one's gonna do anything though. Like, are they gonna do anything as a result of this?
Connor, let me tell you about my favorite Mario brother.
Cleared of a weapons charge, the federal weapons charge.
Yeah, they've just got him on some some smaller stuff now. Yeah. He's not that guy. They got the wrong guy.
Maybe God is real.
Topic number 3. Your second fitting of the day here, Connor.
Topic number 3: God is real.
As we lightly transition from pedophilia to
lawsuits,
and then we're gonna lightly translate into
Nintendo.
Hey, there's a Nintendo Direct maybe coming? ?
Yeah.
Yay! Just a real clear, easy way to transition into that here, Connor. So go ahead, take it away.
Valve sued for £656 million. Valve sued for £656 million over Steam's revenue share. Because it's a pound, I keep leaving out the S. Whatever. Valve faces a lawsuit from the CEO of Parent Zone, Vicky Shotbolt, to the tune of £656 million, $896 million, over its business practice of taking a 30% revenue share of all content sold on the digital storefront Steam. Originally brought forward in June 2024, London's Competition Appeal Tribunal now decides to move forward with the suit in spite of opposition from Valve on the grounds the, quote, excessive commission charges, end quote, leads to higher costs for consumers. Parent Zone is a digital rights group founded in 2005 that aims to educate others, specifically children, in safety and proficiently using the internet. Shotbolt has been able to acquire over £18.6 million, $25 million, to support the lawsuit, although despite Valve's efforts, specific financiers remain unknown. The £656 million figure is estimated on behalf of the nearly 14 million UK Steam users, specifically based off payouts ranging from £11, to £23, $31. I hate conversions. For consumers purchasing games. Between £14 and $19 and £29, $40, on add-on content, culminating in a total payout anywhere from £22, $30, to £44, $60 per user. Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney, owner of Steam's main competitor, the Epic Games Store, came out in support of the lawsuit, as Sweeney has been known to criticize Valve's revenue share system in the past. Quote, today in the USA, developers are free to steer users of iOS and Android apps to competing purchase methods, Sweeney writes in an X, formerly Twitter post. Apple and Google collect 0% on those transactions. On computers and smartphones, that was the only major store still holding onto the payments tie and 30% junk fee, end quote. Some accuse Sweeney of supporting the lawsuit for the sole purpose of weakening his storefront's main competitor, while Windows Central held a readers' poll to gauge opinion on whether the Steam's practices stifle competition, resulting in 84% of voters believing Steam has done no wrong. Two other cases over the same concern were leveled against Valve at 2021, with one coming from experimental developer Wolfire Studios, and the other being VR/AR company Dark Cat Studios. And though they faced roadblocks, especially Wolfire's suit, which was temporarily thrown out, they'd both be combined in an ongoing class action lawsuit in November 2024. That was probably top 2 worst readings from me on this podcast. But we'll do it.
It wasn't. I don't know if it was that bad, but because you've had, we've both had some bad ones on here, but
Well, we have.
there was a little bit of struggle in there. I want to shout out Griffin Fever in the chat. We'll just say aligning with positive vibes of assassinating pedophiles. Anyways, it's hard to care about this after the previous story, Connor.
It is.
I'm sorry. So what's happening? The Valve Steam has too much of a chokehold on the PC market. Is that what's happening?
They're saying that because whenever you really do anything on Steam, they take a 30% cut. And so the criticism of Vicky Shotbolt, who admittedly seems good, like well-natured, at least until we know who their investors are. Basically, her issue is that stifles competition because, well, you're not getting as much of a slice of the pie as you might deserve.
Vicky Shotbolt sounds like a Harry Potter character.
She does. This is in Britain, so, It's a UK company, if I didn't mention before, Parent Zone. And so, yeah, this is just the announce of the lawsuit actually moving forward. I'm in agreement with the people who were polled on Windows Central that Steam has constantly been a hotbed of people being able to create their games and get them out there and becoming big as a result of it. For example, Among Us is one of those that it was surviving on Steam, and then eventually it popped off, and now those creators made tons and tons of money as they deserved. And they also offer a lot of old games that aren't available on things like the Epic Games Store. That usually the only other place you can get those games are on GOG. I just have I see it as a case of Steam is actually just they're winning out in the war of the free market. They offer the best deals. Because they constantly do discounts, and it's a place where anybody can put their game out there. Even if you want to have like an octopus sex game, you can put that on there. Nothing's stopping you. They don't really seem to have any scruples
they do
about
have
this.
restrictions. There are games that
They
they
are,
go, but also that's not always a good thing. But
The biggest fear is Gabe Newell, who's overseen all of this, leaving, and who's going to replace him, and what's their methodology with how they should run Steam. Maybe not so great.
All of that say their revenue share and their splitting of the percentages and stuff. I mean, that could be if it could be a little better, it could be a little better.
And hey, this is what that lawsuit will find out.
Yeah.
do think it's ridiculous we don't know who's investing on this, because when you have someone like Tim Sweeney come out in support of it, like, I get he could be principled from a certain stance, but most likely he just sees a way to get a leg up on the competitor that's always beat him, that's never not going to beat him unless you do things like this. And so some people were theorizing that his company is one of the financiers, like competitors to Steam.
There's a solid chance of that. I mean, and you brought it up here. I mean, like, Tim Sweeney is the reason that, like, there are now competitors to the Google and Apple Play stores.
Yes.
You know, so, like, yes, but also, like, this is the part of capitalism where I believe competition does help, right? Like,
yeah.
It helps the consumer, because this is how we split things up, and the developer. What it hurts is Steam, and Steam's got more than enough money. They're fine.
They do, but that's where I get back into the free market, because you have competitors that are able to survive very well. GOG, for example, they offer a very similar catalog. They've never had any issue. They don't have their owner, whoever it is, come out and constantly shit talk Steam for their practices. And Epic Game Store, they don't seem to feel that niche as well as either Steam or GOG does. In fact, that's the one usually people insult and criticize more than Steam or GOG. And so it just seems like it's, in their case at least, it's just a matter of being salty.
What is GOG's revenue split?
I don't know. That's
Well,
important.
that's kind of what we're talking about. Well, that would be like because I understand the benefits that come with Steam, but if we're talking about a specific part of it, like, do those benefits truly outweigh that specific the tendencies of that specific part? Because, like, 30% is a lot, and you brought up the discounts. Who's eating the cost of that discount?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, like, is it these publishers and developers who are trying to get these games out, or is it Steam? I think it's Steam.
It should be, yeah. But
it may not be when you're selling $20 games for $3. Like, it hurts either way. What you got?
It says GOG is also 70-30.
Same shit. Then.
Yeah.
Same shit then. You know.
So I guess they don't want this case to go in against Valve's favor either. But
okay, because then they get fucked up.
Yeah. Same argument, basically. We'll see.
Yeah. This is business. I like this. This is good business that we can talk about on this industry. It's the stuff that a lot of our early episodes were centered around when Epic was suing, or Epic was causing a big old stir up about Fortnite on mobile platform stores. When we first started the podcast way back when. Remember that? Remember those days?
I do.
Connor?
Oh yeah.
Remember, that story I think we did tackle at my mom's kitchen table.
We probably did.
Yeah, there was bad echoes. It was real bad. Don't listen to those episodes. They're real bad time. They got better. Are they? Have we taken a step back these days? Because now we have microphones that get all staticky randomly, and I can't figure out what the problem is, and it's driving me up the fucking wall. You know, maybe. Connor, moving into our final topic of the day, my second penny of the day. Ready? You ready to just talk about some video games?
Yep. Haven't we already?
The microtransactions, Connor, they were right all along.
They were satanic.
A Nintendo Direct is reportedly coming next week, dedicated to partner games. This is from VGC's Andy Robinson. Nintendo will reportedly stream a new Nintendo Direct dedicated to third-party games next week. That's according to Nate the Hate and Game Explain, who claim a Nintendo Partner Direct will take place on Thursday, February 5th. This matches what VGC has heard from our own sources. Partner Direct is Nintendo's digital showcase for third-party titles scheduled for release on Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, rather than games Nintendo currently has in development at its own studios. Nintendo held a Partner Direct last July, which featured games like Final Fantasy Tactics, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, Star Wars Outlaws, Octopath Traveler 0. I didn't know that wasn't a first-party... I guess I did. No, because that's Square Enix, right? Octopath?
Yeah.
Pretty sure. And more. As Switch 2 enters the second half of its first year, many players are anticipating major third-party game announcements. Games already confirmed for Switch 2 include Elden Ring 007 First Light, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and From Software's The Duskbloods. It was recently confirmed that Nintendo Switch 2 closed out 2025 with 4.4 million units sold. Wow, that's a lot for its not even first year. In the U.S., retaining its status as the fastest-selling console in U.S. history. Unit sales of Switch 2 are currently 35% ahead of PS4 during the same time frame, and nearly double those of the original. That's the what?
That's
What?
crazy.
That's the stat I wasn't aware of. Holy shit! However, some industry analysis believe Nintendo will increase the Switch 2 price globally at some point this year, driven by the impact from tariffs, increased memory costs, and broader macroeconomic conditions. And because they can.
They can. No one's stopping them.
Yeah.
Clearly. Yeah. So,
Man, all that talk about how overpriced the Switch 2, all y'all were just full of shit, huh?
Went right to buy
it. All y'all, you went and bought it anyway.
so besides the Duskbloods, what's showing up here?
Elden Ring, Switch edition.
Is it really showing up though?
I would be shocked if it didn't.
I guess. So. Well, I'm thinking of like,
I'll be honest, Connor, I think Elden Ring's more likely than Duskbloods.
no,
Yeah,
no.
I'll put it on. I mean, I think both are coming.
No.
I think both are coming. But Elden Ring, yes, a port of Elden Ring, yeah.
But last I heard, they were having a lot of troubles doing that, weren't they?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they're not there yet.
I could see them doing like a back-to-back thing, where like they show up. Oh, here's Elden Ring. Oh, but here's also the Duskbloods. You know.
I think Elden Ring opens, Duskblood closes.
I agree. Well, I mean that's probably what will happen. But I'm saying
Yeah.
they could do that.
And then yeah, you'll get like cool little neat things like 007 and whatever the other one that was listed in the that's not Star Wars Outlaws.
Indiana
that was the last one.
Jones.
Indiana Jones. I think all those titles work for that. I think you could see a lot of Microsoft there. So smaller games like Keeper maybe could show up. Avowed, South of Midnight, basically Microsoft's whole run last year could be shown here. Grounded 2, Outer Worlds 2, maybe even. Maybe not that one.
Mhm.
We'll see. I'd probably put more money on Grounded 2.
See, you kind of have a hard time thinking of like outside of first-party games.
Yeah.
And IPs, what the Nintendo Switch would be doing here. And it's important because
Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed Shadows on Switch 2 yet?
I don't think so.
Bill, please.
I'm sorry, Phil. I insulted you earlier.
He said, if you're gonna sit over there, you better do some work for us. Let's
not.
see. Anything on PlayStation that's been making the rounds?
It is.
Is Death Stranding on Switch 2? I could
sorry,
see
Phil.
Death Stranding Director's Cut coming to Switch 2.
So basically, we're just talking ports here.
I mean, probably for the most part, yeah. I mean, you might get like some new stuff. I think all they need is the Elden Ring and the Duskbloods. That's all they need.
That is all they need. Yeah.
You know, maybe there's another Octopath Traveler game on its way. I don't know. Maybe a Triangle Strategy 2 is on its way. I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. So I'm hypothesizing here.
I meant to say
Bayonetta?
I
A
meant
new
to say
Bayonetta?
Bayonetta. They did have that little smaller game. Maybe that's in advance. In what's the word?
There you go. Come on.
In preparation
In preparation. There you
for
go.
a fourth game.
I mean,
No.
did 3 do well? I don't know. I don't think
yeah.
it did. Maybe it did okay. I don't remember.
It won a Game Award.
That means it did good.
That sure, yeah. That means it was the best thing ever. You know,
No, it would be a good addition here. Prince of Persia and
the Lost Crown, probably already on Switch too. I would be shocked if it wasn't.
I don't think there's a Switch 2 edition, but it definitely made its way to Switch.
Good point. Good point. And there's probably a series of those, right? Switch 2 editions. So Star Wars Outlaws again, baby. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, is that on there? I keep reaching to Ubisoft. What is over on the EA side that could come to Switch? What has EA made recently?
It was on Nintendo.
Dragon Age: The Veilguard?
Yeah.
There's probably a sports game that's going to show up there. You know,
Oh.
an FC. Say Baldur's Gate? Are you out of your fucking mind?
Maybe they.
You think a Baldur's Gate 3 is going to run on Switch 2?
Bro, I mean, first of all, yeah, there's no guarantee it's going to run. Second of all, they had to censor fucking Dispatch. You think they're not going to censor Baldur's Gate?
You're right. They're cowards. Never mind.
I mean, there's titties in Elden Ring, isn't there?
Whoa. No, there's not.
No, there's no titties in Elden Ring?
What game were you playing?
Y'all named this game the greatest game of all time and ain't got no titties in it?
Wow. Objectifying women? That's where we're at
I'm
now?
not objectifying women. I'm objectifying titties.
Oh, so that's all they are, huh? Jedi Fallen Order? I don't know if you said that, but the commenter said that. It's possible. Certainly. I mean,
Order Survivor, maybe? Could see that. Griffin Fever in the chat again, giving a shout out. I think we are going to get one of the new first-party games and a bunch of ports. I mean, even though that's a decent point. Even though it's dedicated to partner games, you could still show off something first-party there if you want.
that's true, yeah. We're thinking too small town.
I don't think they usually do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. That doesn't feel like something they normally do. But then again, like if they were going to show something, I don't think it would be like a new announcement. I think it'd be something we already know. So like a Yoshi storybook. Maybe you wouldn't show Fire Emblem here, which is I think their biggest thing that they've got going on right now.
That might be a dedicated thing, even.
Yeah, that's getting its own blowout, or like with like a couple of other smaller things announced alongside it. It would be a smaller title. There's a Rosalina game in development somewhere, isn't there? So,
is there? Oh, I hope so.
It isn't something they do usually. Yeah. So.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah, we'll wait and see.
It's close by.
Listen, this is one of those ones that like is neat. I don't think you need to like get excited for. I don't think this is not going to define Nintendo's 2026 by any means, but it is going to give players something cool to play on their Switch too, which I'm not going to say they desperately need, but it's always appreciated to have more coming to my Switch too. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take it.
Especially now that we have hardware that like sure still isn't the best in the world, but is now like up to a higher standard of what our low tier consoles are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't think we're getting a Mortal Kombat 11 on Switch 2 like disaster that we had the last time. You know what I'm saying?
No,
that makes sense the way I said that. I mean, was it 11 or was it 1?
I think it was 1, like the new
Mortal Kombat. That's the new one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Mortal Kombat 1, which went to Switch, it was a fucking disaster, right?
Yeah. I'm pretty
Like
confident
I don't think we're
was,
gonna get that. I don't think we're gonna get that. Does Skyrim have a Switch 2 edition yet?
It does. Switch 2. No. There's a Switch 1.
I didn't hear. Phil, I didn't hear you on that. So like, I don't think you. Yeah. Switch 2, he doesn't know. Yeah. So it could be a Skyrim. Oh, a Starfield.
Slop for
could
slop.
Could be a Starfield. It's been announced for PlayStation, hasn't it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Griffin Gamer said. Griffin Fever. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, I don't recall having a Switch 2 version. For Skyrim? Oh, that we were still on that.
Starfield.
Starfield. Oh, yeah.
He says Star Slop.
Star Slop.
This is your guy in the chat here, Connor.
I like this guy.
Griffin Fever.
It is
He likes
Slop.
this guy. Yeah, so it could be something like that. You said Baldur's Gate 3. Come on, son.
Yeah.
Come on, son.
You know,
that game ran okay on a PlayStation 5. Like it's not
on
going
an advanced PC.
It's not going to a Switch 2. Yeah, I think those are about the quality of the tier of games that you can expect, and I think that's fine. Those are fine. Those are good. The quality games.
I'm still thinking about the Epstein files.
Should we give Dragon Age: The Veilguard a second chance?
No. Like
No?
you say, it's a fine game. It's
Like
just
a hard no?
yeah. I mean, like yeah, in the sense of hard no. Just because unless it's for the podcast, I don't see myself going back to it.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It'd make
We
it more
have so
interesting
many
game.
other games to get to before we get to Veilguard. Though.
Yeah.
Huh. Really, a hard no for?
Yeah, there's nothing interesting about that
It
to
wasn't,
go back
it wasn't
to.
a bad game though.
No, not by any long shot.
No.
Not by a long shot. It just.
And now that our expectations are reset, not that they were like super high to begin with, but now that we know what the game is, do you think maybe we would enjoy it more now that we know what it is and not what we hope it to be?
I wouldn't say so because I was even getting to the point I arrived at the game way before the game even got shown in gameplay. Like I'd seen that leak that one time, and I'm like, this just seems like typical whack things over and over and over and over again. Maybe do a big giant attack every now and then.
And it is whack things
That's
over and
exactly
over again.
Yeah.
People really saw that Fable trailer and thought that combat looked good, huh?
Strange.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I saw the pushback being the office style scenes they're going to have, which that might be cringy.
Sure, but Fable. I think that works.
I think it depends. If the
intentionality, if it's done well.
Yeah.
Phil, we never got your input. Did you like that Fable showcase? He shrugs his shoulders. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your Two Penny Games cast. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, and drop a comment. The camera got knocked askew at some point. Make sure you like, subscribe, drop a comment on all of this week's news. Boy, oh boy, there's some news. What is this thumbnail going to be this week, Tavin? That's going to be an interesting thing to find out.
You know.
Oh, the problem is that I do know. Oh, no. I've envisioned it in my head. Anyways, make sure you're subscribed. Hey, we've got the Two Penny Game Club. Our video game book club series is back. If you're watching this on YouTube, we just posted this review of... I'm tired. Can you tell I've been podcasting for 5 hours? We just posted a review of Dark Souls 2 live on the YouTube channel right now. Not right now, Griffin Fever. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And anyways, nobody made it to this part of the video anyway. All right, y'all have a good night. Bye.